What is the best way you've seen a guy hit on a girl? I was at a party. Everyone has been enjoying adult beverages very responsibly. This girl starts spouting off loudly. Double quote. Why is sex over when the guy gets off? Sex should be over when the girl gets off. And this smooth older guy goes. Double quote. See, that wouldn't work for me. Double quote. Why not? Dot. Because then sex would be over way too quickly. She gets this big banana grin and he proceeds to drink his beer like he didn't know it was a joke. When I left the party they were still talking. Watched a guy fall down skiing on the steepest part of a run and he could not stop. Skis. Poles. Hat and gloves go flying. As he is rolling and sliding I notice he's about to do a bowling ball slam into a girl standing at the bottom. He spreads out his arms and legs and manages to stop but lying face up. Feet uphill and she is just looking down at him like WTF. He says, I've been trying to meet you all day. Get a buddy real drunk and tell him to hit on a girl. When he blows it we swoop in and apologize for our drunk friend. Buy him a drink if required too. And boom. In there like swimwear. Works 90% of the time. All the time. Met a gorgeous girl early at the beginning of a night party. A few minutes before midnight. I saw her again. And she gave me a frustrated frown. Double quote. Is something wrong? I asked. Double quote. Last New Year's I didn't have anyone to kiss at midnight. And I was really hoping this year would be different. Guess not. I had been drinking. But not so much as to miss an opening like that. Took her in my arms and kissed her up to and through the countdown. At the time it all seemed very spontaneous. But later I learned she had been practicing that line for over an hour. Anyway. This August will be our 20th anniversary. This story is about me. Was at a party. Talked to this tall thin redhead for not even 2 minutes. Cops show up and shut the party down. Her friend asks her if she is coming home with her that night. So I interrupt her and say, we were just talking and she's actually coming home with me tonight. Her friend turns to her and asks, oh, you're going home with him then? She looks at me and nonchalantly says, looks like I am. Never in a million years did I expect that to work. Then we went to my place and did things. Edit. Oh my frick, this blew up. At a fancy party. I was in heels and a little drunk. Stumbled down the last few stairs on the staircase. Nothing serious. Smartly dressed guy rushes over. Helps me to my feet. Once I'm back to my vertical self. He takes my hand. Looks me dead in the eye and says, I'm sorry. I should have been there to catch you. Panties dropped all the way to China, I swear. Edit. For those asking what happened in the end. It was a work party and I had to catch my ride home. Shortly after I was fired and, sadly, never saw him again. I've seen a lot of one-liners fail in the past. But just a week ago I saw a 13-year-old boy pull one off flawlessly. There happened to be 2 sets of kids where I work. All about the same age. 11-13 years old. The girls had walked past where the boys were sitting to go to the restroom. Obviously the girls going all together. On their way back a brave boy asked one of the girls to help him. Curious she asked how. He asked her what type of phone she had because his was broken and he didn't know how to fix it. So she went over and was looking at it and after not finding anything she asked what was wrong with it. Double quote. It's broken because it doesn't have your number in it. The girl's dad happened to be passing by at the time and he was laughing so hard I thought he was going to put his daughter's number in the kid's phone for her. Once walked up to a girl and said I owed her an apology. Could I take her out to dinner to apologize? Naturally, having never seen me before, she asked why. Double quote. I should have asked earlier. Didn't work. But I got a giggle and a blush. One of my close friends and I were playing pool in our dorm commons when this knockout brunette sat down with a few of her friends. Me and my friend both noticed she was glancing at him, but we continued to play pool. A half hour or so goes by and I asked him what he was doing the following day at 6 when I finished class. He turns and smiles at her before telling me whatever she is doing at 6 inches. Her jaw dropped and she started giggling. They dated for nearly a year after that. It was the smoothest thing I have ever seen to date. I had a friend back in university who was socially behind the curve. He would come off as creepy or just too abnormal, I guess. It made girls uneasy. But he was a decent, fun guy. Anyhow, he had a huge crush on this girl I was lab partners with, and I know she's single etc, so I'm just coaching the guy to approach it halfway normally. I say next time he's with me and she's around, I'll just bring her into the conversation and just sort of flesh him out. Big him up a little. And in an hour when it's all a little more comfortable, I'll excuse myself for a minute and he can casually see if she wants to go out sometime. Later that day I'm at her house, finishing a report, and she gets a Facebook. I'm on her laptop. It's him, and without prior conversation, almost ever, the IM says, "Your boobs are GR8. Dot. It didn't work this time. I do admire his misguided courage, though. Best one I've seen. I was sitting at the bar with a buddy of mine and there was an attractive woman on the other side of him. He says, double quote, "Watch this," and proceeds to turn to face her and introduce himself. They shake hands, and when their hands touched, he grabs her hand and say, double quote, "Hey, you have such small hands. My DCK is going to look huge." I had to put my head down on the bar because I was almost crying laughing and fully expecting him to get a good ol' slap for that one. Nope. She laughs. And they proceed to flirt it up. Still amazed that worked. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Yes, he is a handsome fella. But there's no way that should have worked. But god, was it ever hilarious. I was in high school and there was this substitute teacher that was downright gorgeous. Everything a teenage boy could dream for. Like straight out of one of those pornos you watch. So she's subbing my class one day and she says, double quote, "Ugh, I think I lost my phone. I can't find it." So quickly I go, double quote, "Oh, what's your number? I'll call it." Double quote, 943-555-73. OHH, you think you're slick or something? I was so close. Needless to say, I never had a chance. Phone number or not. I might be late to this party, but I have to admit it was probably myself. When I was 5 years old, I literally hit, with a stick, the cutest little girl I'd ever seen while playing in the park near her house. She ran home and told her dad, who read me the riot act. 12 years later I took her to senior prom. And another 11 years after that I married her. I was walking to class a couple months ago when I saw the guy and girl nearly bump into each other going through a tight doorway. They looked at one another and gave their respective awkward smiles. But then both tried to walk the same way around. Twice. They looked again at each other. When the guy put his hands on the girl's waist, picks her up, and slowly places her on the opposite side of himself. I had to walk past them at this point, but when I looked up she was staring at him and blushing. And I saw them talking outside after class and seemed to be hitting it off. My buddy saw a girl standing alone at the bar and happened to notice she was wearing a Star of David necklace. He walks up to her and says, double quote, "Hi. Are you here with someone or are you just waiting for your messiah?" She threw a drink in his face. I don't remember getting hit on very smoothly many times. One time I can remember. This college guy walked up to me trying to get me to help a fundraiser or something, and after the conversation he said, double quote, "Hey, one more thing. Has anyone told you what's wrong with you today?" No. Double quote. Good, because it's not a damn thing. It really made me smile. I don't know if this is the best way per se, but I definitely had something random and very cool happen to me at a bar. Simply put, I was standing next to this really cute girl. I don't know if he saw her checking me out or something, but this guy comes up to us, makes eye contact with her, points at me and goes, double quote, "Man, that's a really cool blazer, don't you think?" She gives me a once over and agrees. He gets his drink from the bar and leaves without saying another word. Instant attraction. Dancing and hooking up happen. Thank you random awesome women wherever you are. I never got the chance to say that. My buddy Will is the master of hitting on girls. This is a story from his college days. He's an eccentric person and always made paper flowers out of the napkins in our university cafeteria. For over a year, he hid these flowers around our residency hall. And the notorious Rose Kid was born. People talked about the roses around school, and he always hid them in weirder places. The cafeteria women would wear them in their hair, and they adorned the front desk. I shit you not. Multiple girls began collecting entire bouquets of them. Come the next year, my buddy has a lot more confidence, and he starts initiating a lot of conversations with potential lady friends. Frequently, he would go up to random girls and hand them flowers to initiate conversations. One time, we were on the city bus doing the crossword, and he saw a cute girl in front of him. She had a bag of groceries and was looking the other way. He tossed the flower into her groceries and she didn't notice. Minutes later, he dropped his paper onto her bag, and she looked over and up at him. He apologizes, leans over to grab it, and says, "Huh, where'd you get that flower?" He talked to her the rest of the 20-minute bus ride as I sat there on my phone. Back in my senior year, my buddy got real drunk at a club. Being the good friends that we are, we naturally convinced him that hitting on the two beautiful girls at the other side of the club would be the greatest idea ever. He agreed and we told him that he should totally use this line. Double quote. "Have you ever ridden the Oriental Express? Would you like to? Ah cute, how ah cute." We were both Asian. The drunk motherfricker with a shitty-eating grin strolls up to the poor girls, grabbed both their hands and whispered into their ears. Both of them looked at each other in shock, then smiled and started talking to him. As the girl was whispering enthusiastically into his ear, my buddy puts a finger to her lips, turns around and walks back. Our jaws were on the floor. Double quote. "What happened?" He just goes, "I got hungry. Let's get some Mickey D's." The entire night we were like oh cute, oh cute, oh cute, oh cute. Best cut down while being hit upon. My best bud was heavily flirting with this girl in a bar who completely wasn't interested in him. After putting up with him for far too long, she suddenly spins around, looks him dead in the eyes and asks quite loudly, double quote, "Do you remember your first BJ?" Being completely surprised by the question and having a dozen sets of eyes on him in the bar, he timidly replies, "Yes." She loudly asks, double quote, "Did you spit or swallow?" Tail between his legs, he quietly got up from the bar stool, admitted defeat and crawled away in shame. My parents met when my mom was working at McDonald's in the drive-thru window. My dad pulled up and said, double quote, "Hey, this isn't what I ordered. I ordered a Big Mac, a fry, and a date with you." Somehow that worked and here I am. He went up to her and asked her if she had dropped some random item he had in his hand, then proceeded to tell her a funny story and that was it done. I think he showed most guys in the club that you don't need to instantly comment on a woman's physical appearance or grab her bum to win her over. My friend and this girl were talking. Girl tells the guy his joke was shitty. Guy replies saying she looks like shitty and immediately follows up with, "See? Now we've both lied and we just look stupid." At a swimming party during summer break, one girl didn't know how to swim, but my friend took her by the hands into the pool, and next thing, he was holding her in his arms, the smoothest, nicest way. All of us noticed that they made a natural couple, as if it were meant to be. My now husband had a bad reputation in college. The mutual friends through which we met called him woman poison, because he was known for moving from lady to lady. Although I was interested in him, I only pursued serious relationships and turned him down for months. It wasn't that hard, since I lived 2 hours away and had a career to focus on. One weekend, I heard a knock on my door, and on my doorstep was a book he and I had discussed the last time we saw each other. He had driven 2 hours and was about to drive 2 hours back just to leave me a physical copy of something we had talked about. It totally won me over, signifying that he was willing to put time into the relationship. We dated 6 years, have been married for 4 and have a 1-year-old son. I was at a party. The rogue ping pong ball from a game of beer pong rolled into my vicinity. The guy playing came over and asked a female friend of mine if she could pick it up for him, offering the explanation that he had hurt his back earlier. I gave him a look that said, "I'm onto you, but I respect the grind." Then he lifted up his shirt and said, "No. Really?" And he had a cast around his torso. I like to think he had the foresight to plan it all out. But in all likelihood the guy probably just hurt his back and wanted to get back to his game. This past New Year's, my friend and I are at a club. My friend had been going around with the line, "I'm really shy. Wanna dance?" And he was failing gloriously. Now, this friend is usually a master with the ladies. So I pulled him aside and asked him what happened and to get it together. He did. Earlier, we had been talking to some nice young women, one of whom my friend thought was particularly cute. But by this point she was hitting it off with another guy. So my friend marches on over and says to the other guy, "Hold my drink. I'm gonna show you how a real man treats a lady." He hands this guy his drink, turns to the girl, takes both her hands, and brings her to the dance floor. The look of befuddlement on the guy's face was priceless. 10 minutes later, my friend was making out with the girl on the dance floor. The guy was still standing to the side, jaw dropped, holding his drink.